Welcome back to another MX Bikes track review here on the Kellen Brower SOIS YouTube channel. This is the Cairo GP track by PunkerJeffy, I think is how you say his name. I apologize if I get that wrong. But before we ride it, he actually has a cool little story behind it, so I wanted to talk about this track before we play it. He says, Cairo GP is a make-believe track on the MXGP circuit. I've always been a huge Egypt fan, and even spent last summer touring the country for 2 weeks with Dr. Robert Scotch. I don't know how you say that. The track is a completely sand surface, so it'll take a little bit to get used to riding it. It has a close to realistic scaling and is rough the majority of the way around the track. It's a challenging track to put a consistent lap together, at least for me, but I think it'll produce some good racing. I put a crazy amount of hours into this track, so I hope you guys enjoy it. So that's a really cool story to begin with, obviously, because for him to have a passion about a country and then want to build a replica track about this country is really, really cool. And I feel like he's very well encapsulated what I would assume a MXGP track at Cairo, which is in Egypt, to look and feel like. He's even got like little, background files of what the pyramids are in the background and stuff like that. So nice job, PunkerJeffy, for a terrific little landscape to begin with. But the track itself is a ton of fun. It has a very Riola Sardo feel to it, for those of you MXGP fans out there that maybe know that track. It's very sandy, as he said, and it's kind of, it feels like it's just kind of like a little bit up and down through some rolling dunes, rolling hills, which is very much like what Riola Sardo is. There's obviously not like grass and stuff around the sides of it like at Riola, because it's on an island, whereas this one is in Egypt. But that kind of feeling, just like wide open, pinned off the back of the bike through sand, and just carrying speed and momentum everywhere. And what I feel like PunkerJeffy did here really, really well was make it so that like every kind of option that you take around the track has a flow line to it, I guess is how you would say. It basically has a, if you jump onto a plateau or if you jump onto a bump a certain way, there's another bump that you jump onto after it, or another little landing spot right after it, for example, that kind of makes sense with the flow of the track. And I like that. I like that he like took the time to just make sure that little details like that kind of came together and flowed really well. I honestly feel that this is maybe a little bit better of a track for a 450. Not saying that you couldn't ride it well on a 250. I'm just probably not good enough, but I am on a 250F. And like that section that I just went through right there, the left side of it is basically like a triple rhythm section, and I've never gotten it clean once. I'll try to next time by, remember to go all the way out there and try it, but it's honestly kind of a tough line to get. So I don't know that for sure I'll get it, but I'll try my hardest. Either way, the track has really, really good flow. I like that a lot of these berms, like you can just kind of like lay into, and you don't go down, you don't slide out, because obviously it's like a sand type of soil. And then I like straightaways like this, where you just get a lot of speed and then you huck and you try to land out to like one specific roller up to the finish line jump, little kick out for the fans, and then land and get to this inside rut. Another inside rut right here, and then rejoins where the start does right there through the mechanics area. But like I said, like again, it feels very like Riola Sardo to me, but it also has a lot of characteristics of basically any type of like GP sand track, or sand track in general, even if it's not on the GP schedule, where it's fast and there's not a lot of like U-turns necessarily. There's a couple that have like good berms that you can just lay into and kind of carry momentum off of. But I don't feel like the track has a lot of stop and go. It's a lot of flow from one corner to the next. You lay into a berm, you kind of stay on top of the sand because of it, which is the right way, in my opinion, to build sand tracks. I'm not a track builder for MX bikes, but I have built tracks for sim. And when I've built sand sections or even full sand tracks, it's always been about that. Flowing corners, make sure there's not a section where you feel like you lose momentum and then you have to just drag all the way through the next straightaway to get it back. One continuous motion from corner to corner is a really fun way to build a sand track, and I think he's done a really good job with that. I'd kind of be curious to know, like, if Punker watches this video and maybe comments on it, if he did get a little bit inspiration from Riola, just from the layout itself. Not saying it's identical or looks like it in that regard, but just that like the way that it flows from corner to corner does feel like that to me. And I guess it also does kind of feel like Lommel. So there's that rhythm section. Like I just can't quite get enough speed to get that first jump, and then from there on out it's kind of a struggle to get the rest of them. But at least you just land and get right back on the gas and carry speed to the next little section on the track. And I love how the inside-outsides work really well. Like, if you want to tuck to the inside, you can, but you definitely won't be carrying as much momentum on the outside. The outsides just have really, really good flow to them in every aspect. You lay into a berm here, you flow through this corner here, and yeah, it all connects together very nicely. I'm also kind of like a low-key big fan of sand tracks in moto games. Some people don't like them because they just don't have a lot of jumps. Like, it's a lot more not technical. Technical would probably be the wrong word because you're just wide open, and every section just feels like it kind of is wide open from one to the next. So it's not really like tight and technical in that regard. But it's more about like finessing the bike, landing on the bumps the right way, landing with the rear tire in a certain spot, making sure you're in the RPM range the right way. Whereas like a track with nothing but jumps, that obviously is more just get the speed to do the jump and throw big whips and scrubs, and you're just going to have a good time, which a lot of people play MX bikes for. So I understand that concept as well. I do also like throwing whips and scrubs, but as a avid motocross fan myself, I do also very much enjoy a track that just has those elements to it that makes it feel like a racetrack, I guess. This one feels like it 100% could be an MXGP track. Like, I just honestly, maybe one day they do go to Cairo, and right next to the pyramids, they build a little sand track like this, flowing in and out of the dunes, and this many fans show up to it. I don't know. Something like that. But it feels like a real track. It feels realistic in scale. It feels realistic in size, too. Like, the distance from markers on the track, the way that the corners flow, the way that ruts are like laid out in the corner, all feels like, yeah, this should be an MXGP racetrack. And maybe that's Punker's dream, right? Being a big Egypt fan himself. I'm not like devout to the Egyptians or anything like that, but I do think the pyramids are cool, and the story of how they are built are pretty cool. And I'd have to imagine if he's a fan of Egypt, that he probably also shares the same sentiments. The only thing I wonder is if people, when they first like click on this track, they think, oh, Cairo GP, like it must be Egypt, the pyramids, etc. I wonder if people think that, oh, the track will go into the pyramids and then come back out, or go around the pyramids, which we kind of do, like they're right there in the distance. But like people like unrealistic tracks sometimes, so maybe they think like, oh, we go up the pyramids, that's probably really cool, and then they download this and it's just a sand track. Maybe they're disappointed. I don't know. It has 4.7 stars out of 5 on mxb-mods.com. I'll be sure to include the link in the description, but maybe that's why one person gave it 4 stars. I don't know. I would have given it 5 stars. Would highly recommend you guys do as well. I'm just trying to come up with a reason why someone wouldn't have given it a heightened view. I'm going to try to do a couple like really cool lines here. One of them of which is at the top of this hill. You get this triple around the corner and kind of land on that right there. That's really fun. And then if you can get to this inside nicely, you get this double over this hill. That's a lot of fun as well. And then I like what he did here is inside-outside options. You can kind of pop off of this over the hill, or like outside you kind of step on off of that hill a little bit. Then through here, it's pretty much just launch out to flat, stay on the rear end. I feel like I should always be in 3rd gear on this track just because 4th gear lugs quite a bit. And then I like this little like triple to here, scrub out to this little area. I have not let off the gas once in like 15 seconds. I actually probably should have put my inputs on the screen. Let's see if I can just go through this corner without letting off. Oh yeah, wide open. I shift down once. Oh, almost slipped out. I wonder, like low-key, this is probably a track you could do the entire thing without actually letting off the gas. Maybe I should do that as a challenge. Tape my throttle button down and see if I can make a whole track or a whole lap around the track. Actually shifting and, not just 1st gear wide open, but like going through it in 3rd, shifting back down to 2nd, like make it through the whole track in just one throttle position. Would be kind of fun challenge to at least attempt. I like how this section is built, even though it doesn't really kind of flow on a 250 to go to the left side. It's still kind of cool to launch out to that plateau and go to here, ride the wall a little bit, stay on the side. I think even that uphill right there, and I'll try to do it. I'm going to do one more lap next time by. I'll try to remember to go to the right side of that uphill next time. Oh, that scrub. Oh, that was a 6 scrub for a second. Dude, this track, yeah. I had a lot of fun just kind of BSing on it recently, and I was like, I need to bring back like MX Bikes track walk, basically. I don't know that I'll call it the MX Bikes track walk series on this channel, just because I feel like it was particular to the SYS main channel, which you guys will see probably this week that there's some different stuff going up there now. But yeah, like I just want to do track reviews again. I want to talk about the awesome community members that make really cool tracks in this game, and this one caught my attention, so I'm gonna start off with it. Not sure why laps aren't counting. I don't feel like I'm really cutting the track anywhere, unless it considers me doing this like triple thing through this corner up at the top of the hill, a track cut. But I feel like I'm staying within the markers for the most part. Like, yeah, I guess if I don't really hug right there, I'll jump off the track. So maybe that's where the track cut is considered. But the rest of the track, I don't feel like I'm really cutting anywhere. So maybe that's one detriment. Maybe that's why he got 4 stars just from one person. Someone was like, man, I didn't even go off the track and it penalized me for it. What the heck is this? I don't know. Could be, could not be. I don't know. But yeah, credit where credit's due. Well done on this track here. A lot of fun. Definitely a track I would recommend maybe even hosting some races on. Get together 20 or 30 of your best friends. Have some wide open sandblast battles. I'd be curious to know what this track is like on a 125. I just feel like you wouldn't be able to do anything, but that would maybe be the point, right? Just wide open everywhere on a 125. On a 450 would be kind of cool too, just to see how much more speed you could carry from section to section. I don't know. Some thoughts about what you could do on this track or what you could not do, perhaps. And gonna finish up this final lap and send you guys on your way. That inside line right there. Try to get to this inside and just carry momentum. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That was probably the best run I've gotten through this section. Maybe I should have tried to stay on the side. So if you swing out wide right here and then cut back to the right side of the track right here, yeah, there's a little like plateau right there that you can just step up over that hill. And then I think I've only taken the inside line here once, but I like it. It's just too many bumps on corner exits, so you don't really get to get all the way over that double cleanly. And then you just land in this gap right here. Try to get on the rear fender through those bumps right there. And then there's not really an inside line right here either, but you can just tuck inside, double out right there, and then all the way down this straightaway as fast as you possibly can for a full lap here around Cairo, the MXGP track of Cairo by PunkerJeffy. So download this in the description below if you guys want to try it out for yourself. Many props to Punker for this awesome track. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video as always, and we'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.